It has been a while since I have done one of these videos. A long time ago, it was an actual video on the channel, and I ended up doing some in YouTube Shorts. But the idea is simple. We're going to go through these Surging Sparks set cards and find a card that we think we can make kind of funny. We'll be doing a few. Of course, these full art cards are prime contenders for this. You know what's funny is I was going to use the Pokemon's official website for these cards. This is theirs. This is the one from Pokélector. Pokélector literally has a higher quality image of the Aeol and Dugtrio card than the actual Pokemon company. Alright, so I think the idea here is pretty simple. We're just gonna steal this white back here. This is probably gonna be one of the easier ones, at least to start off with. We're just gonna get rid of this guy. The trace around it pretty clean. This part right here, we're just gonna have to kind of guess how this one's hair naturally forms, because their hair kind of blended together right there. I'm guessing it was more of a divot than what I have going on right here, so we're just gonna kind of duck it down a little bit more. Yeah, like that. That makes sense. Or maybe even all the way down there? Yeah, that works. I don't think anyone will question it at the very least. One thing you have to realize when you're doing these kind of card edits is that everything doesn't have to be perfect, because people aren't really going to go through these with a fine-tooth comb. I'm trying to erase any signs of that other Diglett's existence here. Okay, that line looks real blocky. Try and, like, even that up. Not too bad. We almost just need to erase, like, just thin out this black line. Okay, that's not too bad. Alright, well, now we have two. My thing is, I don't know if this hair right here belonged to the big guy or not. Either way, getting rid of that is going to be more of a pain. That's going to be more of an artist thing. I don't do art. I'm doing this with a mouse. So we're just going to say that that hair is a part of this guy right here. But now, these guys have lost a brother, right? They're no longer Dugtrio. They are Dugduo. So they're probably not very happy about it. So we're just going to go in, we're going to pick up some of this brown right here. Go back to our paintbrush. And I kind of bezel this out a little bit. And yeah, that is definitely some closed eyes on that guy. These lines weren't really super well defined by the original artist. You can tell they're a little blocky. All right, I'd say that's pretty good. Maybe not. Maybe clean up this a little bit. All right, that's not bad. All right, now we got to do this guy. His shade of brown is slightly different, so we're going to copy that. And once again, just erase the main part of the eye, then go down. Erase the top, and go down. Gotta kind of fill in some of these pixels here. God, this line is so thick right here. There we go, that's better. And then we'll do the same on this end, kind of thin them out a little bit. Need to kind of adjust that. It is angled. All right, now they're both, okay, maybe those are too tall. Let's cut those down. He is, you know, further away from the camera. So I cut those down, that's better. All right, now we have two sad Digletts. So this right here is one of the water badges. I believe it is the Cascade badge, but we're just gonna kind of re-implement the Cascade badge here. Paste that into a new layer. It's a very big file, but we'll just kind of shrink her down. You know, let's flip it. So it's actually kind of coming out of the eye there. That's not bad. That's not bad. So then we're going to copy it, paste that into a new layer, bring it over here. It's going to be even smaller because, again, this guy's further away from the camera. And we need to flip it back to how it originally was. And we're going to place it right there. So the issue is you know, the nose, especially on that guy, is kind of blocking it, right? Because in an actual 3D environment, that would be, you know, the tear would be behind it. So we're just going to go through and kind of carve out the nose there. Bring that opacity back. Okay, I think I carved out too much. Let's redo that. All right, there we go. Now he's kind of crying in a more realistic sense. Not bad. And we'll start off with this first tear duct that teardrop that we originally worked on. We need to adjust this to kind of make it fit the card a bit more, so maybe darken it. Okay, yeah, darkening is definitely helping. All right, I think that's a pretty decent shade on that. Maybe it's not perfect. Let's retry that. Okay, that's better. I actually think brightening it, but you know, like you have like a two-tone here, and I kind of just like lowered the difference in the two-tones. So you'll see it whenever I go to do the same to this one. Like it definitely changed it. So we'll go back to levels, and yeah. So we're actually going to merge those two into one layer. We're going to duplicate the layer, and we are going to, let's get zoomed in on this. Effects, object, and we're going to add a bit of a drop shadow. So when I come underneath the drop, we don't need that much distance on it, nor nearly that level of blur. And right about there. So now there's almost like a... Ooh, maybe I don't like that. Yeah, this card doesn't really play into the whole shadow thing a lot. That kind of makes it obvious that I added this to the card. If anything, I think we can duplicate the layer again. But instead of making a shadow, let's just kind of blur out the edges. So we're going to go to blurs, and we're going to go to Gaussian blur. And we just want like a really light, like... just softening around the edge. Do I want 2 or 1 layer for that? I think 2 kind of makes the difference. I also don't like this dark spot in the badge kind of coming through. Right next to the nose, it looks like I messed up the nose. There we go, that's better. Just remove that dark spot entirely. That's far better. All right, Dig Duo is now sad that, well, Doug Duo is now sad that their buddy is gone. So let's change a few more things. Now, this is probably the easiest I've ever had trying to fix up one of these names. Honestly, this card has been pretty easy altogether, because the skybox is just simple. Let's get rid of the word trio here as a trio they are not. Oh, we have Aeol and Doug, and you can see here the font that they use. I actually don't know if this is the exact same font, but this word Doug, I can have it a bit transparent here, is like, look at the G. Like, I'm pretty sure that they use the bold Calibri font for their cards. So we just need to type out the whole word Doug Duo, add it there. Let's make it transparent again. Then we can try to get the sizing correct. I think that G is probably going to be our best form of aligning here. Alright, I think, at least as far as the G goes, we're pretty on the money. There we go, okay. So now that we have that, we can actually remove the word Doug, because that was not needed, so let's just get rid of our Doug. Then we can bring this opacity all the way back up. We're going to duplicate the layer. We're going to change the back layer from hue and saturation. We're going to make it white. Then we just got to find the right size of a Gaussian blur that we need to apply. I think 9 might do it. Let's see. Ooh, 9 might be a bit too much. So let's do it again. Effects, blurs. Let's try a 6. And I think 6 is right on the money. We don't want it to be too sharp, because I don't know what they use to blur it. If they're using a form of Gaussian, it's not what I have access to here. So I don't want to be too strong and stand out, you know? Maybe 3 is even still too much. Although you notice there's almost like a layer of dark coming out from around the white here. So maybe that needs to be added as well to really make the difference. So let's go back. We're actually going to do a Gaussian blur of 3. Bring that down to a 3. And then we'll... Okay, 3 is too little, 6 is just a bit too much, and I think 4 was right on the money. So now what we actually need to do is we need to go back up to the original Doug layer, well, the Duo layer here. We're going to copy that. We're actually going to bring our new duplicate all the way down underneath all of our white layers there. Then, it's already dark, but it's not perfect, so we're going to make it pixel perfect dark. Then, we're going to blur that out, and we were at 4 before, so I think maybe a 7 will add... Okay, yeah, actually, I like doubling it, but we need to not quite double. So I think just a little bit more, right about there. And bam, we now have Doug Duo. So next up, we have this attack down here, Trio Chiho. If you don't have exactly 3 cards in your hand, this attack does nothing. But there's only 2 of them. Why would you need 3? So we're actually going to come through and just straight up erase this here. All right, now let's add our Chiho. What font size should I start off with? 28 is too big. 26 is slightly too big. But 24 is slightly too small. So we're going to go with 26. And we're going to type in what they had, but now with that. And once again, we're just kind of trying to blend it just like we did before. All right, so I didn't get it perfect, but I don't need it to be perfect. I only just need the duo to feel like it is properly lined up. And I would say that it is. So we can delete my poor aligning. We can then bring our duo out, and we just kind of got to repeat the steps from before. So the behind layer, we are going to make white. Then we are going to effects, Gaussian blur, and we went with a 4 on the other one. A 4 should still apply here. Then we just need to duplicate that many times, because they have a very thick white line around it. Then we will once again copy our duo layer, bring it down here, we will make it black, then effects, blurs, Gaussian blur, and we did a 7. And we did double layered, but then we kind of lowered the opacity on that other layer. So now we just need to fill in this background here, and this should be pretty simple. As someone who isn't an artist, I have some confidence in my abilities to do this. I've done some free hand-mouse drawing for these cards before. I can do so again. Can I connect that line up? Can I connect that line up? Then all we really gotta do is just kind of fill in this gray and hope that no one looks too closely. So we'll fill in the gray here, then copy that gray. It's only slightly different, but slight differences can add up when you're trying to make something look legitimate. And then we're actually going to go back to a black line, because you can see that this rock here is a different shade than this rock here, so it kind of has to end somewhere, and I feel like you would kind of see that coming through in the O, plus that gives me a more defined line to follow. So then we'll copy this gray again, and we'll paint this rock in, and we'll copy this dark gray and finish filling this in. Ooh, what's wrong here? I think... Which layer am I looking for? Yeah, I think I left this here, so I'll also have to go down here to the bottom layers. No? Where did that black line come from? Oh, I drew it on the card! Oh, I'm stupid. Alright, we'll just fix it this way. So we're gonna copy this white. There we go. Problem solved. We now have the Aeland Doug duo with the Duo Chio ability. And then this one is pretty simple. We just need to replace this number 3. So once again, making a new layer, layer 33. We're going to type in the number 3. We need to make it black. Then drag it down here and lower the size. And actually, I'd say that is spot on. So now we're going to make it into a 2. Then we can hide that for a second, because we no longer need this 3. Then bring the layer back, and you can guess where I'm going from here. Alright, number 2 has been added. I think it's a little bit too big and too bold, but honestly, kind of adds to the funniness of it. Makes it stand out that there's only 2 of them. So now we just need to, this will be pretty simple, copy that, and then just kind of paint it back in. We then need to copy this black line and make this a bit smaller. Not too small. And draw that back in. And then lastly, we're going to copy this gray and draw it back in. Okay, I think our sad Diglets are done. The Ale and Doug duo. If you're ever interested, I plan on posting these in the YouTube community tab. So if you want to like post this somewhere, you can screenshot this, but it'll be in the community tab at one point. It's going to be probably a couple days after the video's uploaded. I don't know. It's still going to be compressed, but not too bad. If you're ever wondering how long it takes to do these kind of things, that was a more simple edit, although I went a little hard on a few parts. That was a 30 minutes to do that one. I'm not sure how long the video timer went for. I had to fix brightness. I need to stop relying on the sun as my primary lighting. God, I look so yellow now. Oh my god, I'm yellow. Like red. There, is that better? I think this got rid of most of the red. This works. Okay, I think I have an idea for this boy. Okay, so we have a little Swepa here. And this one's gonna require a lot of like text editing and all that, I don't think. But I have an idea. See, all we need here are these hands. So we're gonna take this hand first. We are going to paste it into a new layer. And we're gonna kind of shrink it down. Okay, I think that's pretty good. I wish the thumb... Okay, I can have the thumb come out the top. Alright, that works. So now, we just need to start erasing the hand, so it looks like it's coming out from behind the Swepa. So obviously, we need to keep the fingers. Those are the primary component here. What's funny is that I have thumbnails that I need to make for videos, and I'm procrastinating by not making those thumbnails, but still editing images similar to how I make thumbnails. Okay, I think we've done pretty good. Let's bring it all the way back. Yeah! Be gripping that boy. And let's see if we can get both hands in there, because like the thumbs crossing still kind of works, right? Like, kind of makes sense. Go into like a samey scale. I'd say right about like that. Then make it transparent again. This one's kind of tough because this hand isn't as curved in the fingers, right? Like this one is like anchoring onto the head, right? They're planted. These are more coming out. So I think this hand is still attempting the grip, but hasn't gotten the grip yet. I think that's how I need to think about it. And so think about it like that. I think we have it pretty well lined up. I will say it needs to be behind the other hand, especially if it's gripping second. This makes more sense. And we don't need any of this thumb aside from what comes out the top. Where this pinky kind of connects here is troublesome. Let's... Okay, actually, I think that kind of works. We just need to, like, draw back the pinky a bit. Also, there's a weird, like, purple tint to this. Whatever studio this was in where they shot this dude's hands. There was some purple light in that room reflecting. Okay, I'd say that's pretty good. Now, let's see if we can get a good inner shadow working. Okay, I don't hate that. Because the idea is that the hands are kind of coming out of this, like, grove, right? So we want to kind of shade them, and they kind of come into the light towards the back end. So that one's not bad. Then we do the same thing here. Let's do another inner shadow. We're going to have to angle it the other way. And this one needs to be a bit less strong, because we do have more light coming through right there. We got those like light shafts coming down. Why don't we just weaken the strength a lot and then increase the length? Okay, that's not bad. The biggest issue is this thumb right here. So we need to... Where's it at? Where's my... There it is. Circle that thumb. And then we need to just kind of improve the shadow on that one. So again, we're going to do an inner shadow. Aiming the same direction. Yeah, darken it down a lot more. There we go. Now the thumbs are kind of making sense. Do we even want the thumbs, like... We can probably merge layers now. I don't know if I even want the thumbs. Yeah, it kind of works without them, right? I think the thumbs crossing is just too awkward. I think that works. So are they obscured? Yes. Okay, so we now need to erase. So this little red thing on Swepa is normally on Swepa. That's normal. But this one falling down here and this one falling down here, is that one actually hitting the hand? Maybe slightly. They need to actually appear above the hand. Okay, I think I cut too much there. It doesn't really have to get perfect to the black outline. If anything, that makes it worse. Yeah, see, the black outline of the object kind of makes it look like a bad crop. Okay. I think that's pretty good. So let's duplicate that layer, and let's also do a drop shadow here. So we're gonna do effects. Do we think the drop shadow just on the Swepa actually adds to it or not? Like, we're not worried about It definitely is too strong. We're not worried about what's around the sweat, but that'll be erased. Yeah, I think a little bit is what we need. It's very light. And then we can go through and erase the shadow from around the hand, because we only needed to leave a shadow on the swepa. Also, I missed a little bit of hand here on this little red piece. Gonna clean that up. I'd say that's pretty good. Yeah, I don't think any text really needs edited on this one. To be fair, I don't like editing the text. I think it adds a nice bit to it. But if the card, I don't feel like needs it, I don't usually do it. Because like it's so much time sink required. Like to get this background to look correct. And it's just, nah. Oh, there's our Swepa being abducted. Honestly, nothing that I could possibly do could make this card more funny. I can do something with this. It's not going to be super easy, but I can do something with this. So here's our Sizzlipede, and we shouldn't need any outside assets for this. Rather, we need this. So I think... Is erasing going to be the easiest method, or do I want to try and highlight it? I think erasing is the easiest method. So we're going to duplicate the layer so we don't lose it. And then we're just going to do... kind of highlight out that segment. Right there. Because the upside to using the eraser is that it adds like that blur, right? A natural blur around it. Whereas if you were to use like this tool, which would also work for what I'm trying to do, you're going to have really jagged edges. So I think the erase method is probably the better one here. All right, that's the top part done. Okay, we need to fill in a back color so I know that I'm actually getting what I need to get. So let's add a new layer. Make it a nice blue. Yeah, see, I missed some right there. Alright, I would say that's pretty good. So we just need to copy this. And then we can get rid of this layer, re-add this one. We're going to edit, paste into new layer. And we're just gonna, we're gonna have to play with the size a bit. I'd say that's pretty good. It's gonna kind of get bigger as it goes because of the scale of this thing, but that's fine. So, we're just gonna keep scaling him up, and this will be our last segment right here. Perfect. Alright, now we get to do some more cleaning up. Because I had to rescale, there are some parts that are kind of sticking out here. So it's got to kind of level those out. Then on this top layer, we need to make it clear, and we can actually just do a very simple highlight up here, go down, line it up with this top part of the card, and delete. And then do the same on the side. And delete. Then we have the issue of the parts of him that are still sticking out, which really shouldn't be that hard to fix in theory. Let's just get the straight pull color there, subtract our size, and color in where he used to be. Perfect. Then we'll do the same thing right here. Now this is the hardest part, getting this little hump gone. I'm just going to have to try and do it as a solid color, because again, I'm not an artist, I'm not good with this stuff, and just hope that no one really notices. No one really takes a good look at it. And probably one of the easiest ones I've done. I'll be honest, I don't know why I thought this one would be so funny. Like, I mean, it's not bad, right? It's fine. We can combine these layers now, they don't really matter. So, I mean, there's our boy. He's probably a bit longer than the Pokemon Company originally intended him to be. I just kind of like this animation here. So in Pokemon Snap, sometimes you have that issue of where you get a shot that really isn't that great. The Pokemon isn't fully in center. Maybe you got most of it, but its face isn't really there. But your professor still rates it as like a high image because it's a point system. It can't be perfect, right? And so I like to think that the person who was making this card had the task to go out in the wild and get a picture of a Sizzlipede. And he happened to find this big boy, but the only picture he got didn't include its face. And so instead, they were like, screw it, there's still a Sizzlipede there. But I think that's gonna do it. If you guys enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, all of that fun stuff. This is mostly a card channel, but I love doing Photoshop, even though it's not technically Photoshop. If you want to see more of these, let me know down below. I don't know how much I can prioritize them. Obviously, they take some time to do, but I kind of enjoy the time that I spend doing them. So if you actually do want to see more of these, like legitimately, more will happen the more views it gets, first off, and second off, the amount of people that say like, hey, this was funny, or I learned something, and I want to see more. I can't say I'm going to do it for every set that releases, but maybe. Either way, if you're interested in Surging Sparks, I did a video where I compared the Pokemon Center ETB to the standard ETB, and that video is going to be linked right up here. I started the point early because I'm not used to the camera being mirrored. And on this side, I'm going to have a playlist of all of my Pokemon videos if you feel like binging. So, thank you guys very much for watching, and hopefully, I'll see all of you next time. Goodbye for now. A lot of weird head movements with that one. I'm not used to saying that on camera.